he can't play this year because he didn't show up to sign his franchise tag, so he forfeits pretty much like $14.7 million off the franchise tag. So people like Bud Dupree, defensive end, who honestly could be seen as a bust, a bunch of cats raid his locker. Now, I propose this to everyone out there. If you are in contract negotiations with your employer, and let's say there's a date that you have to show up or else there's just no more negotiation for the rest of the year, and all your employees decide to just raid your desk while you're gone. Like, you're still with the company, but they just raid your entire desk while you're gone. How would you feel? And then the whole time while you were negotiating, people were talking about your money and how you don't deserve it or how you're making too much money as it is when you've been getting hosed for like 3 years on a contract that they saw coming, that they still don't want to pay you. I would say I don't respect the character. Let me ask you this. I don't respect the character of any of the men in that locker room who took part in that and have been throwing dirt on Le'Veon's name. I don't respect any of them as men. Their mothers raised little bitches. Their fathers shouldn't even claim them. Like, that's the most anti-man law shit I've ever seen in my life. First, you talk to another man's money. Let me ask you this. And then you raid his locker room while he's gone. Like, his personal shit while he's gone. Let me ask you this. I'm snuffing somebody.
Does Le'Veon even care? Because honestly, I really don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares either.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying his personal shit, but it's really not.
Because I think he always knew none of those guys really had his back like that.
I think even beyond that, it's not really his shit. It's a bunch of new shit that he hasn't even touched. It was just there. Like, he hasn't been there.
Yeah.
He hasn't been there. Like, he honestly has not been there in months. He hasn't been there in damn near a year. Like, so, yeah, you're over here talking about it, and it's one thing to do that.
Other NFL players were talking about it.
It's one thing to
Marcus
do that.
Flowers.
Like, if you want to talk about, you brought up the office thing, right? It's like that sort of thing happens when people go on parental leave and maternity leave and stuff like
and
that.
You steal everything out of Claire's desk.
So it doesn't surprise me that it happens when this dude is voluntarily not
sitting out
up
to get more money in a righteous contract that the team don't want to give him.
Yeah, man. Well, what is his teammate supposed to do?
Not talk about his money.
I mean, that's definitely true.
Not come out and say he's less of a man and all this other shit. When it's like, bro, his offensive line is trash. They're functionally good within the system.
I think they send a message, right? They're tired of being asked about it. They're trying to focus on winning. And honestly, let's say the Steelers do win the Super Bowl and they didn't do this whole thing. Would Le'Veon Bell get a ring?
I think he has to. He's on the roster.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, I guess.
And to be honest, if it wasn't for Le'Veon's efforts, they're never in this position.
Clearly, the team doesn't want him there. The team has
They don't want him there because he doesn't
multiple times.
Okay, let's say he shows up first game, tears his ACL, boom, he's not going to get paid.
Bro, everything you're saying is fine. I get it. But there's the consequences to that. Like, yeah, there's consequences to that, bro. Like,
let's talk about places he could go potentially.
Anywhere.
No, I think there's certain teams that just aren't going to be wanting to pay
him.
Him.
He can't go to Seattle. Seattle has too many running backs.
They have like 3. Sean Penny's looking really good. I think he could end up in Indianapolis, the Raiders, but the Raiders probably won't even pay Maurice Hurst when he gets good, when it's time. They probably won't even pay him. But I would say the Raiders, the Colts, the Patriots even. Wouldn't be surprised. There's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I think their issue is just more quarterback based and they need a better head coach, better offensive coordinator because they have the pieces. You could also say the Jets. You could say the Vikings, since they're that loaded.
Again, like I said, at the top of the
Titans,
point,
arguably.
Like I said at the top of the point, he could go anywhere he wants to go, anywhere that wants to pay him.
I think certain teams are like he can't go to the Giants.
Okay, But I mean,
Can't go to the
any team.
Jaguars.
Put it to you this way: what team is going to offer him money, right? What team is going to offer him the $14 million he
Four
wants?
of the teams I mentioned have really high caps: the Colts, the Raiders, the Buccaneers, and there's another team, but the Colts have like the highest payroll, have the highest salary cap. I think it's like 113 million. And they struck gold with Eric Ebron.
What's the running back class looking like as a whole? Is it another deep class? Is it a top-heavy class? Is it a soft class?
It's not really that deep of a class as it was this year.
Well, the past 3 years, it's been pretty deep.
But here's the problem. I saw something. I forget who said it. I'm glad I can't remember the name, but it was a stupid-ass point. They're like, look at all these running backs. They threw in, like, Naheem Hines and another rookie. I was like, bro, they don't even really play that much. They're like, look at all these good running backs. There's the reason why Le'Veon's not getting paid because there's too many good young ones that they can pay. I was like, no, the Steelers being cheap because before those guys even came out, Le'Veon's been trying to get paid for like 2-3 years now. He didn't get paid with people in his own draft class. So explain that to me.
Both of those points are true, and I think that's overall just running backs being undervalued, as we've talked about.
You can say that about receivers. You can say that about they're better quarterbacks now than they were back then.
Is there?
If we're talking, how many?
Is there? There's a lot of
quarterbacks were bust.
There's a lot of QBs who've gotten exposed in the past couple of years.
Yeah, but that's college coaching and schemes and everything and just wrong fits. But let's talk about the caliber of quarterback from like when. Let's say 2000 to like 2010. Do you really
That's
think?
A huge group of quarterbacks.
Okay. Let's talk about 2010 to right now.
Much better, I would say now.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No. Sure about that?
It depends what you value, right? It depends what you value, right?
I'm just saying prospect-wise.
If you value a QB who can run and pass and is athletic, that's
and
now.
you'll cater a system around him.
Who can hand the ball off and throw deep.
It's Quincy.
Talking about before.
Okay, hold on. It's Drew Henson, Quincy Carter. I don't want to throw in Jason Campbell, so I'm not. Sage Rosenfels.
Joe Harrington.
Gus Frerotte. You're telling me those guys are stalwarts right now, stalwart backups, getting the money they get. Sam Bradford is the unicorn of all unicorns. But for real. Tell me, like.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that. So you're gonna tell me that.
Tell me Cody Kessler couldn't beat out. Couldn't be a good backup or potentially a starter behind with a guy like Matt Hasselbeck.
I don't know.
Cody Kessler had like 70.
I don't know because
Matt Barkley came back out of nowhere. Matt Barkley.
You're not biased. You're not biased though, Kenny of Troy, right? You just named two. Could Mark Sanchez back then?
Mark Sanchez couldn't do shit back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but compare Mark Sanchez to like
no, Mark Sanchez would be in
Todd Heward. I'm talking about those cats, those backup Chiefs quarterbacks, the Packers backup, like Jim Sorgi. With Jim Sorgi last, Jim Sorgi isn't even as good as Peterman. I'm like, these QBs are better trained and more athletic than they've kind of been. At least the white ones.
They're still sorry as fuck. Can we just say that?
Yeah, but I'm saying the backup
being a QB is hard. I think you're just overall showing how hard it is to be a QB.
I think it's easier to be a QB now than it was back then. They took legitimate hits back then. They had to get it done even if it was ugly back then. Now you got QBs like Peterman who are historically stinking shit up. Because
I think it's just a college game. The college game has changed too,
exactly.
just as the pro game.
Sean King, Rohan Davey, Matt Leinart could have been good had he not been a shithead. But like, let's see, Billy Volek was nice. Billy Volek. Who would Billy Volek be today?
Let's change the topic, bro. We're talking about Billy Volek on our podcast in 2018.
Bottom line is,
wow.
I'm always
touchdowns and tangents. You know what it is.
I'm always show Billy
Thursday
Volek
spot
love.
Live in the good news. Shout out to the FBC Radio. Shout out to X Squad. Shout out to whoever's listening. Shout out to whoever fought through these technical difficulties with us. Shout out to KB for holding down the show last week. His third solo show.
Thank you.
His third solo show.
How many you got?
Ad-libbing.
You might have to do a solo show or a fake solo show. like a Joe Budden drop.
You just want a week off, huh?
I'm reserving the right for a week off. I reserve the right for a week off. I'm just saying. I've never missed an episode of Touchdowns and Tangents.
It's facts. It's true.
My percentage is ridiculous. Like that kid who got the award in middle school for showing up every day since elementary school. Most useless award. I remember I didn't win, and I was just like, that kid's a loser. He needed it. But anyway, it's that Leveon situation, man. Now it's gonna be interesting to see what he gets.
Bro, you just scratched all in the mic. You literally scratched into the mic.
I didn't scratch
like
into the
you
mic.
heard all that.
No, I didn't. I was fixing my
True life.
I was fixing
True life. Ashy ass radio host.
First off, I resent that statement. I'm not ashy. It would have been funnier if you said. It would have been funnier if you said, "True life. My radio co-host has no neck. Why is he scratching it?" That would have been funnier. Can't even insult me properly. Dog, no one can hurt my feelings better than me. So don't even try. My jokes are funnier than my insults that I write for you wouldn't even be funnier than the shit I think of.
Speaking of jokes,
basis. The state that I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say the war in Iraq, and I was gonna punch you. But nah, like real talk.
No, I was gonna talk about Russell Wilson and about how he's pretty much the only reason why the Seahawks are even
good.
Yeah,
feasible.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan Simmons, former backup offensive lineman for USC.
And I was gonna say, I was gonna raise the question.
And the NCAA stole his eligibility, but now he's a starting guard for Seattle because apparently they found the right guys.
I was gonna raise the question about the Seahawks. They have 3 running backs. Is that a product of Russell Wilson, or is Russell Wilson's a product of the running backs?
That's just them finally getting a running scheme together. That better not be my CarMax, bro, because I had like 3 in my backpack, and I know your punk ass stole one because you're smiling in my face.
I really didn't.
Bro,
I really bought.
I feel like that's my CarMax.
Not steal your CarMax.
I'll let you live just because I got 2 more, but I feel like you stole CarMax really in my backpack when I walked outside. But okay,
I can afford my own CarMax. I'm good.
I just feel like you're that guy who doesn't. You steal lighters and chapstick. I feel like you're that guy.
I wouldn't steal chapstick from somebody else. That's gross.
No, I mean like unopened chapstick. I feel like
I wouldn't.
If you for sure saw a pack, you would take it. But anyway, when it comes to Seattle, man, Russ is they're building everything around him and those receivers.
The Rams can lock up the NFC West with a win versus KC. Yeah. I think it's pretty much already locked up. It would just be a formality.
Who's winning 10 games besides the Rams in that division? The Seahawks might be 8-8 if they're lucky. That's why Russ beat the Packers. I'm like, Mahomes was like, yo, who should I take? It's a betting game. I'm like, well, one, you should take over 45. And I told him to pick the Packers, but oh well. But anyway, with the Seahawks, man, they're just Russell Wilson is like one of 4 QBs who has over 20 touchdown passes and less than 5 interceptions this year. And his completion percentage is really good. By the way, we don't even.
And it looks like they won a comeback game.
Yeah, we don't even talk about the fact. Quick side note: we don't even talk about the fact that Cam Newton's completing 67% of his passes and still isn't getting calls. He got jacked up last week. He never gets roughing the passer calls. It's amazing. But Russell get him. Cam won't get him.
Let's talk about it, KB.
Aside from the fact that, it's not even a black QB thing. It's a Cam thing.
It definitely is.
It's like the league has something against him. Because how dare you be an outspoken, flamboyant quarterback who happens to be black and you're winning on your terms? You're successful on your terms. How dare you? Norv Turner should get Coach of the Year because he as offensive coordinator for the Panthers, man, they look dangerous.
They're finally using all those playmakers that they have.
Properly.
All that speed,
athleticism, versatility, funches and bunches who can play tight end and receiver. Curtis Samuel. The Panthers actually have 500 rushing yards from non-QB.